Hello and welcome to Griddle Cooking with Chef Sherry Ronning. Have you ever struggled with coming up with ideas for dinner? I do this all the time and it just feels like I'm making the same thing over and over and over again. So I decided to come up with a list of Blackstone Griddle recipes for you guys, and so that you can refer back to this and come up with some dinner ideas that you can make in a matter of no time. These are really quick recipes and they're super easy to make. So I'm going to show you a few of my favorites. Garlic butter chicken. Oh, it is so good. I can do this in a whole breast, or you can do it in strips. I like to do the quick cooking strips. And the butter steaks. Ooh, they turn out so delicious on the flat top griddle. I just give you a few tips and you guys can run away with it. It is so good. If you have never tried a steak on the griddle, you really need to do it. Super easy, few tips I give you, and you can be making steaks like a pro. So another thing I've done before is the using a pan on the griddle. So I have made an Alfredo sauce using the pan on the griddle, and I cook up some chicken, some of the buttered chicken, and I make a fettuccine Alfredo chicken fettuccine Alfredo right on the griddle. So easy to make, and few tips I give you and you're cooking like a pro. So the stir fries, I have all different kind of stir fry recipes for you. Super easy to do on the griddle. Sometimes I do have the video where I talk about where I'd sometimes like to use the pan using the stir fry sauce on the griddle. So you could check out that video and it might give you some more ideas. So this is something you might not think about, wet burritos. So we make these all the time and I have made them on the griddle and they actually turn out really good. So I've done pulled pork wet burritos. This is a seasoned ground beef wet burrito. Super easy to make, and you can make this in a matter of just a few minutes. Really easy to do. So another one of my favorites is the quesadilla. So I've done all different kinds of quesadillas. Love them. Super easy to make. And, you can mix and match and you can make all different kinds of things with the quesadilla. So check out those recipes. I hope that gives you a few ideas. But tonight I'm going to be making my family's favorite recipe that dinner recipe that they like on the griddle, and it is a fried rice. So I've been making this. I got this recipe from one of my neighbors and she shared this recipe for me, and I've been making it for several years and it turns out amazing. My friend Tammy Jacobiak is the one that gave me this recipe, and I thank her because it has become a staple in our household. But it's not like your average stir fry. I mean, it is so delicious and so good, so easy to make. You need to make my recipe. I'm telling you, it's so good. So let's get started. I'm going to stop talking here and let's get griddle cooking. Alrighty. And if you have my cookbook, I have the chicken. I'm going to be making the chicken and shrimp fried rice tonight because it's going to be a complete meal. But you can go on my cookbook. If you have the recipes for the Blackstone Griddle cookbook, you can go on page 40 and 41 and you can get this recipe here. If you want to get this digital copy of this for free, go in the comments and click the link. I show you how to get this for free. Super easy to do. So let's get started. We are going to be making some chicken and shrimp fried rice. Super easy and quick. Make sure you have all your ingredients prepped up for this. That's my one of my biggest keys, because you're going to be rocking and rolling really quick with this. So let's get started. I'm going to be doing bacon. We've got some diced bacon I'm going to put down here, and get that going. Basically, you're going to be using the bacon grease in this to cook a lot of your stuff that you're making. So that's why you want to start with the bacon. And then I have my vegetables all chopped up. So we're going to let this bacon cook just a little bit. But the vegetables, you can use all kinds of different vegetables. Mix and match. Pick your favorite. It's endless. You can actually go and buy the bags of frozen vegetables, the chopped up ones. You can get those. You can actually go to the store and you can get these already chopped up. And like when we walk in our store at the very beginning by the deli or by the produce sections, they have the stuff already all chopped up. So you don't have to do it yourself. Just buy it and be good. But I have the bell peppers. I have the orange. I have mushrooms. Normally I like to use fresh mushrooms, but I didn't have any. I just kind of looked in my refrigerator and I was looking to see what I have. And so I'm just going to use some canned mushrooms, white onions, carrots, and celery. Everything is diced really small so that it's quick cooking. This is a recipe that's really quick and you want to go with it really, really quickly. And you don't want the big chunks. So I have the diced chicken. I just have one chicken breast that I'm using and I have it diced up small. I have my eggs that I'm going to be using, my seasonings, which I have the soy sauce, my Lowry's and Morton's nature seasoning. You can use salt and pepper. You can use your favorite kind of seasoning. And then I have my rice. So this is my white rice that I'm using. And I cook this special. So you really have to look at the recipe to see how I do this because I have a special way that I'm doing this. And I'm going to be dropping a video of this in a couple days about how to make this super, super easy. But I think, this key to this recipe. And then I've got just a few shrimp. You want to use raw shrimp. I'm going to stir my bacon up here. Ooh, we got some nice color in there, just like that. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. So I'm using raw shrimp. I have it peeled and deveined, and you want it completely peeled. You don't want to leave the tails on, and because it's going to be all quick cooking in this, and you don't want to mess with any shells. You can use fresh or you can use frozen in this. Super, super flexible with that. And I'm just going to be maybe using some oils. I got some my garlic parmesan oil that I like to use and just some regular oil. I'm just going to just kind of see how it goes with this. And we'll see how we're doing with this. So if you're coming in, if you have any questions, if you want to pop them in there, if you're coming from Facebook, just make sure to put your name on there. It is super important so I know who I'm talking to. And we're just going to keep on rocking and rolling with this. So if you have any questions, pop them in there. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. I am going just to add the vegetables, and I'm going to add them all right on top of there, just like that. And I'm going to go there. And I'm going to season as I go with this. So sometimes I get a little bit over much with the seasoning, so I'm going to try to tame it down a little bit. But I like to season as I go. And then I'm going to cook the chicken, where we're going to toss this together. So we can get the vegetables start cooking. And the one good thing about using the griddle on this, you can use the whole surface of the griddle to cook everything so that it cooks really quickly. That is one thing that I really like about the griddle. And I have made this recipe in pans on the stove, and you can do that very easily. But it's like really hard because I'm kind of doing it in batches, and then it kind of takes a little bit longer because you're trying to get it all cooked. And so it's so much easier to cook this on a griddle. You can do, the heat I'm doing, I did have my griddle preheated, and I have it medium heat. And if you're doing the electric griddle, you're going to want about 350, but you may want to turn it up to 400 when you're cooking the rice, because when you're putting all the ingredients on it, it has a tendency to cool down. And so you want to keep that heat up there. So I'm going to do the chicken on this side. I'm going to hold off on the shrimp because shrimp cook very, very quickly and I don't want to overcook them. And that is one thing that is super and super important, not to get those shrimp overcooked. So I'm going to pretty much wait until the last minute to do my shrimp and just add them at the end. So we're just doing, I just put a little bit of vegetable oil. You can use the garlic oil or like I have my garlic parmesan oil you can use. You can use or the olive oil. Kind of whatever you're used to cooking. If you're used to cooking with the avocado oil, just use your favorite oil that you like. So I'm just going to season the chicken. As you see, I'm just letting this cook, let this do its thing, and it's steaming, and that's what I want to do with that, with the vegetables there. This I'm going to spread out a little bit so that this cooks, that I'm using the surface to cook this on. And with this, I want to talk about, as far as ingredients, I do have the different measurements in the books. I have this on my website. You can go to my website, FromMichiganToTheTable.com, and I have several different fried rice recipes. I do have the chicken and shrimp one on there, I believe, and it has the different measurements on there. So if you need that, go ahead. But with this, I suggest just cut up several vegetables, cut up, the chicken, how much ever you want to use, cook the rice. A lot of times I will use leftover rice. This is a perfect recipe to use your leftover rice if you have it. And, you know, it, it just saves on, the work and stuff, and it uses the stuff that you have in your house. So I'm big on just going in your refrigerator and just seeing what you have. Go in your cupboard to see what different vegetables that you have that you can cook with and use that. Okay, so we have our vegetables cooking here. And I'm actually going to I'm going to combine these all together. I'm going to maybe let this cook just a little bit more. And the reasoning why I like to kind of keep this separate is I like to make sure that the chicken is cooked before I add it in, because it's kind of harder to get it to make sure that I know that it's cooked. And, I'm just going to let it cook just a touch longer before I don't want to overcook it, but I just want to make sure that it's kind of cooked before I add it into the rest of this. And this is okay to let this cook a little bit, that the bacon is cooking, and it just smells amazing. I wish you guys could smell this because it smells really, really good. And let's see, I have a couple people watching. Where are you guys from? Do you have any questions? I would love to hear see who's on here. Um, have you guys made fried rice before? Is this something that you've made? Let me see if I can get a little bit closer for you. Make sure that I don't forget. But see the steam coming off, and this is cooking. This is cooking really nicely. So I'm going to add, this chicken is cooked really good. So I'm going to add it in here. And if you are a 2 spatula user, go ahead and do this. I am not. I just have never done that before, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. So I just stick with the one. I feel really comfortable just using the one. And, that I want you to feel comfortable just doing this. And don't think that this is a complicated recipe. It's like, oh, it's got a ton of ingredients. It's super complicated. It's really easy to make, and it is super, super delicious. And this is a recipe that my daughter, when she comes home from college, a lot of times when she's driving home, her drive is about 2 hours. She will call me and ask me, do you have bacon in the freezer? Can you make some stir fry so when I get home that I can eat, because she says I'm really super hungry for it. So this is one that I make all the time. and my family really likes it. And I've actually had members, my husband will take like a humongous bowl of this fried rice and just sit down and eat that just like this. So that's why I like to include the proteins in this. And it's just one meal, one recipe, and this is good for leftovers. The leftovers do really good with this. So I'm gonna do the egg now. I have this all, it's looking pretty good. You know, the vegetables look like they're doing pretty good. So I'm gonna do the egg and I'm gonna scramble this. So this is where some people I feel kind of get this recipe wrong, is because they will actually put the egg in there and just kind of mix it up. And that's not, fried rice isn't, you want those egg chunks in there. So to get that, you have to let them cook, and you can use as many or as little eggs as you want. So I'm using 3 eggs. I like to have a little bit more eggs in this, and I'm just putting it right in the middle. And I am going to, I can see, uh, I am going to crack the yolk on it. I'm just going to let this cook. So you can do this in a separate part on the griddle if you want, and then add it to it. I just like put it in the middle and then just let it cook, and I'll scramble it a little bit in the middle and then combine it all together. So this is somewhere where you kind of need to be a little bit patient with it, let it do its thing. And you know, it's really, this is where all the magic happens, is this egg. You know, and you can season the egg if you want. I think I kind of go overboard when I season a little bit when I'm making this recipe, because I am using soy sauce, which is salty, and you can use a low sodium soy sauce if you want. You know, I just use what I have, which is the regular. So I'm gonna take this and scramble this egg in the middle here. You can get, you know, a little bit of the chunks if you want of other stuff, but I try to keep it separate, which it isn't going to happen. You know, you're going to get stuff in it with doing it this way. But, you know, I just kind of, you want that egg to be soft set. You don't want it to be slimy when you put it all together. You want that egg to be cooked, but you don't want it overcooked either. So there's just that fine line. And you kind of got to just let it do its thing, but watch it. And then, you know, I'm going to stir it here again, because there is some of the slimy parts in there. And I don't like slimy egg. You want to be able to see those bits all through your fried rice at the end. And if you put it in and like stir it all in, it's going to coat the vegetables and the stuff, but you're not going to have those chunks in it. And that's what you want, is those chunks. So I am scraping the griddle. As you see, I'm using the bottom here to scrape any if it did stick to the griddle, which it was a little bit. But as you see, I'm getting those nice pieces, and I'm using this to chop the egg so it's in pieces, and you don't want like really big honking chunks. That's not what you want. You want to be able to get, when you take a bite of this, you want to be able to get the bite, you want to be able to see the egg and be able to get that in there. Okay, so I'm just going to stir this all together here, like this. You can see the bits of the egg in there. You see the colorful vegetables in there like that. So now I'm going to cook the shrimp. We're going to add the rice and then do the shrimp. But I'm going to take this, I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to use a little bit of this garlic parmesan olive oil, and I'm going to shake it up so we get a little bit of that garlic in there. And that garlic flavor will end up in the fried rice. So, and this is if you want to know, if you want to just cook shrimp, this is how I cook just shrimp. With that little bit of that garlic parmesan olive oil on the griddle, and it cooks really quickly. Put this in a single layer, and we're just going to let it cook, and you'll see it turn pink really quickly. So I'm going to add my rice. I have my rice here cooked. I'm going to put this on top, and I'm going to try to get it so it comes out here. And I don't make sticky rice. This is a special rice that I do. You really have to, I will post the link of this, how to do this in the description, because as you see, it's not sticky and it's nice and fluffy. And this is how this rice should be for this recipe. So I am going to add a little bit of the soy sauce on there. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't take away. So just don't overdo it. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of my salt and pepper seasoning here, like that. And then I'm just going to stir this together. We've got our shrimp cooking, so I'm going to just flip over the shrimp like that. And you can see them turning pink. Like that. There we go. We're just going to let those cook just a little bit longer there before we add them to the rest of this. And we're just going to combine all this together. And you want to get, your objective is to get little brown bits in this rice. So as you see, I have not added any extra oil or anything on this side. You don't want this drenched in oil. That is one thing that is really important. The only oil that I had was from the bacon, and it was pretty lean. And I didn't, if I would have had like a ton of bacon in there, in a lot of extra grease, I probably would have pushed it out on the grease trap, but it, it was enough grease to cook everything else, and we're just going to go with it like that. So as you see, I'm taking and I'm spreading this out like that, because I want to try to get the brown bits on the bottom. And if it's a mound of it, you're not going to get those bits. So I'm just going to add my shrimp in here. They're pretty cooked. I don't think we really need them cooked too much more. So I'm just going to add them to the top here, because that's going to kind of stop the cooking on them. And we don't want them to be too done. So let this cook. This is at the point where you need to be really patient, and you need to let it cook. We're going to try to get the brown bits on the bottom. And because I've added the rice to, it was cold rice. I made it earlier today, so it was cold rice. Some people think that you need to take rice and have it in the refrigerator like overnight before you can make fried rice. No, I don't do that. I mean, I have done it that way, but I just made my rice several this morning, probably about 10 o'clock. And so I had it prepared, and I just let it sit. And so it's not something that you have to make. And I've actually made it right before I've cooked this, and it turns out perfect every single time, as long as you use my rice recipe. That's all that I'm saying, is if your stir fry doesn't turn out because of the rice, you need to use my stir fry recipe. Or my whole stir fry recipe, and you need to use my white rice, long grain white rice cooking recipe. So I'm just going to let that be. We're going to see if we have any comments. Anybody have any questions here? Looks like I got a thumbs up. We're going to just get a close up looking at that. And just look at the nice thin layer that I have here. And it's spread out pretty good. And you'll see the steam coming up. So I know that the griddle is hot. It is, that's one thing. You don't want the temperature too low, but you don't want it screaming hot so that it is like burning everything that you put on it. I just have mine at medium, and it's doing pretty good. But sometimes you have to watch the temperature of the outside. Like if I'm cooking this in the 0-degree weather, it's going to take, you're going to want the griddle up higher. Or if I'm cooking this at 90 degrees out, and you might not want it as high. So you just kind of have to adjust a little bit, adjust your temperature a little bit if needed. And it's a waiting game at this point. And I've actually tried rushing this. I've tried turning it up and tried to rush this stage, and it just doesn't turn out good. So you just gotta be patient with it, as I said, and don't flip it. This is where I want the brown bits all through it, and to get that, you gotta let it cook. So just be patient with it. Let's go back to flip it. We'll flip it here, and then we're gonna taste it. So there we go. We're getting some color here, and I can tell by just doing this that I don't think I have enough soy sauce in there. I think we're gonna have to add some more. Let's test this. I do have a fork here. And this is one thing that I suggest. You need to test this for seasonings before you take it off the griddle. Be careful, this is super, super hot. Don't burn yourself. I have done that before. So make sure you cool it off. So you want to check your seasonings, and it's not, I can tell that I need more soy sauce. I can tell by just looking at it that I need more soy sauce. But you don't want to overdo it too. You can add more if you need to. Test it again. We will be testing this again. I'm going to add just a little bit more of all the seasonings, because I think it needs just a little bit more. Okay, and so we're going to just stir this in so we get the soy sauce mixed in there. And then we're just going to let it cook again, and then we're going to try it. See what it actually, I can see a lot of brown bits in there, which is exactly what I want. The bacon is cooked. I can see that the bacon, it's not like burnt or anything, but the bacon is crispy, which is exactly what we want. Yeah. So I'm using the side of the spatula to kind of spread it out a little bit. Like that. And as you notice, I have a tendency to work with one side or another. I don't know why I do that. You could put it all in the middle here. I just, for some reason, have had this tendency that I usually work, because I have the 2 burners here, so I work on like segments. So you can spread it out all if you want. Another thing you could do, like if you're making this, say you're just making just fried rice, you can do the steaks with this, the butter steaks. You can do kebabs is a good thing to have with this. I like to do kebabs. You can, what else dinner recipes that I've made before? Like tacos, you could do tacos, you could do smash burgers. I don't know if I would serve fried rice with smash burgers, but you could. So dinner, I'm just kind of thinking of dinner ideas if you're kind of thinking of different dinner ideas. Let's see here. Oh, I got 3 thumbs ups. We are just letting that cook. Look how good that looks. Doesn't that look amazing? And it's gonna taste really, really good. So let's give this a try. I want to just test it again to see how it tastes. So when I'm testing, I'm trying to get a little bit of egg, a little bit of vegetable, a little bit of chicken. Yep. Perfect. I think seasonings are perfect. We are good to go on that. Oh, I'm just gonna serve up like a plate for myself. This is what I'm having for dinner. I'm gonna make sure that I include a couple shrimp on there. Look at that. Look how amazing that looks. It is just, I just love fried rice. I love fried rice. So you can add a little bit of garnish if you want. You know, put a little bit of green garnish. Just like that. There you go. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer for you guys here. Look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? And what is it? It's like we are 30 minutes. And I did talk a little bit at the beginning there. So I'm actually going to turn my griddle off. Let's shut this off here. Turn the gas off and then turn the dials just like that. And I am going to look at this. Look how amazing that looks. We've got some of the shrimp. Can you see the shrimp in there? Yes. This is so good. And it's a complete meal. You got your proteins, you got your vegetables, you have your starch from the rice. There we go. Dinner complete. This is great for a crowd. I make this will actually feed several people. You can double the recipe and make like the whole griddle full if you want to feed like a lot of people. And your guests are going to love this. Your family's going to love this. So make sure you try this. I would say this is a must try griddle recipe because you can mix and match this up. You can make this vegetarian. Yes, I have SR saying I'm going to come over with my plate. Yes, if you're local and you want to eat some, come to my house. I have plenty to share, and I would love to share this with you. So it's an amazing recipe. If you want more griddle related stuff, make sure to check out my website, from Michigan to the table.com. I have all kinds of griddle recipes there: breakfast, lunch, dinner, appetizers, all kinds of stuff there for you. Check out my more recipes on my YouTube channel. I have so many. I have over 120 videos for you to watch my cooking videos. Watch me make something on that's, I have a ton of it. I also have, you can go to mygriddlesecrets.com. I have all kinds of griddle related stuff there. You can get a free printable. If you click on the link in this description here, I do have where you can get the free digital copy of my cookbook. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and check that out. I hope you guys have a great evening. I'm going to go get the rest of this off the griddle now. And if you want to come and join me, make sure to give me a shout. I'd be happy to have you for dinner. So have a great evening, and we will see you next time. Bye.